this is going to be a bit controversial. In my opinion, VR has not reached a place where it's useful in flight simulation. Let me tell you why. I think the benefits of VR just don't outweigh the negatives for the time being. Now, this is very surface level stuff, but I want to open up the conversation to you guys. Do you use VR and flight sim and agree or disagree? Leave a comment below and let's have a chat about it. So the first and main reason I think VR is not suitable for flight sim is the graphic-hungry titles like Microsoft Flight Simulator, X-Plane, and DCS to an extent. In VR, you really want to be running a flush frame rate at the capacity of the headset for the best experience, and I don't think that's easily achieved, at least not right now. Headsets like the HP Reverb G2, which I have a lot of experience with, will struggle to hit the 90 frames required for smooth gameplay, with graphics at a medium to high settings in Microsoft Flight Simulator using NVIDIA 3070 and a reasonably modern i7 processor. DCS, maybe not so much. You still need to spend a huge amount on your PC, graphics card and processor to be able to run VR at a level which I think is acceptable. Second to that is the visual fidelity. VR headset technology, in my opinion, just doesn't have enough clarity and sharpness, at least not yet. Now, my experience with VR is HP Reverb G2, Quest 2 and a short stint in the Pimax 5K. This isn't so much an issue for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but more of an issue in DCS. In DCS, you need the sharpness and clarity to be able to identify aircraft at a distance. And there's no way I can do that in any of these headsets mentioned. There's one headset though that I haven't been able to get my hands on, and that's the Varjo Aero. If you have an Aero, let me know what you think of it in the comments. I've been told it's a game changer and will completely change my opinion on VR as a whole. Let me know if you have one and what sort of PC setup you have and the frame rates that you're getting. I'd be really interested to know. Unfortunately, the price tag for the Aero is just a little out of reach for most people, but there's soon to be some competition to the Aero, and that's Pimax's new Crystal headset. It seems to have the Aero squarely in its sights. It's going to be an interesting 2023, that's for sure. This takes me to reason 3. Many people have elaborate cockpit setups with button boxes and a whole host of external controls. When in VR, you can't see all that money you've poured into your sim setup. All those button boxes, flight panels and expensive controls, they're all hidden. Yes, I know you can develop a bit of muscle memory for the basics, but in my experience, there's no way I could develop muscle memory for all my buttons and switches. I'd always be second guessing myself every now and then. I do, however, think the solution for this may be just around the corner with the likes of Facebook's new Quest 2 Pro supporting augmented reality. This means that we may be able to have some sort of pass-through function, enabling you to see all of your controls within the cockpit, but retain gameplay for everything outside of a certain zone. I'll be very keen to see how this plays out in the next few years. There's no doubt in my mind VR in the next few years will be much more mainstream as the tech evolves, maybe sooner rather than later. The more VR brands that start to enter the market, the more competitive the space gets, and that's great for us flight simmers. But if I was planning on rebuilding my rig right now, I'd be sticking to a triple monitor setup with track IR. It gives me all the visual fidelity I need, the graphics card likes it, and I can see all of my external controls. Yes, I maybe lose out on that fully immersive experience that VR brings, but until the headsets improve and the technology comes down in price, I'll stick to my 1440p screens. Let me know in the comments what you think. What VR setup are you running? Maybe you can convince me to switch, or if you're with me on the triple screen setup being the optimal for you, let me know in the comments.